Good morning. I want to talk about what do I do when I don't need you like I used to. Deliverance from domestic violence. Well, good Friday morning. This is Friday, March the 4th, 2022. And today would have been my mother's 92nd birthday. She passed away on November the 4th, 2019. Please, my friend, indulge me for a moment. Share with me for a minute or so to honor the memory of Miss Gladys Hill, my mother. I mean, after all, it's her birthday. I gotta do something. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Happy birthday, Ma. But I got to get to work now. I've done as the Lord has instructed. And for the past couple of weeks, I have appealed to you. And I've tried my very best to encourage you, to inform you of the dangers of domestic or family violence and abusive situations. And when those kinds of things are allowed, when they are permitted, when they are tolerated, they touch every member of the family and even go beyond the household. Violence and abuse is not just between spouses. It actually spills over to siblings, to parents, grandparent-child relationships. And let me ask you something, my friend. I want you to look around in your own home. What's going on in your household? Is there spousal abuse, elderly abuse, child abuse, disabled persons abuse? To whom and to what extent is the violence and abuse allowed and practiced in your household? Let me tell you something, my friend. Going unchecked, violence and abuse creates an atmosphere of craziness, fear, and intimidation, and abuse beyond what we could ever imagine. There are some women out there, perhaps some men or children out there, who wouldn't dare watch or listen to a message of this kind because they literally fear for their safety, they fear for their lives. And in many cases, they have reason to fear. There are some people out there who hate me or dislike me. I hope you don't hate me or dislike me for sharing this information and probably wish, that they could do me harm. But that's the least of my worries. The perpetrator, what I have described as the monster, see you as trying to escape their grip. It's like slavery of old. No communication, no connections, no education, no contact with anyone but the slave holder. Please hear me. And they believe that you don't have, that you don't have to know anyone but them. That you don't need anything unless it comes from them. And these kind of people that you are dealing with, my friend, they think you don't have to know anyone but them. And you don't need to know anything but what they tell you. Let me explain something to you. I have plenty of experience in counseling in this area. I've been trained, educated, and taught how to recognize and how to understand to some extent, as well as to some degree how to control it. I understand it. I've had the training. I've gotten some of the education. But more than all of that, my friend, unfortunately, sadly, I've lived it. And I know what it's like. And I know what I'm talking about. I know the danger. Brothers and some of the women may not like me telling this, but woe be unto me should I keep silent, my friend. I've got to tell it. I don't have any choice. Hear me, please. If you're tired of all the abuse, and if you're tired of getting your butt kicked every week, whether you need it or not, and if you can muster the courage, and that's what it takes courage, then come on in and let's talk about it. This is my take, so don't hate. No hating allowed. Well, again, once again, good Friday morning, Facebook, YouTube, friends, and followers. Welcome to this special edition, special episode of My Take. And I think that's going to be our last segment for now on the subject. But here we are on Friday, March the 4th, 2022. Told you my mom's birthday. I'm Pastor Whitehead, Senior Pastor, First Baptist Church, 1810 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, Gainesville, Georgia, 30501. Yeah. And once again, I say to you, don't do it. Please don't do it. No matter the situation or the circumstances, don't do it. Please don't do it. Don't tolerate violence or abuse, and don't engage in violence or abuse. So what do I do when I don't need you like I used to? For those that have been enslaved by others, those who have been paralyzed in your relationships by others, those whose lives have been halted. And that's what it is, my friend. It is a sick need to abuse and a need to be abused. For those who have this need to be accepted and who need attention, it can be like children sometimes that are desperate for attention, desperate to be seen and recognized and talked about and involved, whether good or bad. They need attention and will do whatever is needed to attract that attention, to fulfill that need. So desperate for a man, some women, that they will take in any scumbag off the streets and take whatever they dish out just to say, you have a man. You don't have a man. You have a monster that will destroy you. You have a monster that will destroy your family and your circle of friends. That's what I call a curse. In some kind of sick, demented, and dangerous way, you have this need for one another, which is really, oftentimes, amounts to a death wish. Hear me. Break the need. Break the attraction. Break the yoke of bondage and flee the wrath to come. You don't need someone who wants you down and out and full of doom and despair and agony. Hear me, my friend. You don't need someone who wants you dead. You don't need someone, hear me, you don't need someone who gets off abusing you, manipulating you, and dominating and controlling you. You don't need anybody like that. You don't need to offer yourself as an instrument of abuse to accommodate and to meet the sick, perverted needs of a crazed monster. You don't need anyone who only wants to use you and abuse you. You don't need anybody like that, my friend. God has someone for you. You don't have to put up with that. What do I do, though, when I do get to that point that I don't need you like I used to? That's where you want to be. You want to be at that place. Hear me. You want to be at that place where you don't need it and you don't need them anymore. You want to be at that place where you're not going to take it anymore. But listen, but what you would need, my friend, is an exit strategy and an exit plan, and then execute that plan. Otherwise, as the Terminator says, you'll be back. And that's exactly what they're counting on. They're counting on you dragging back in there for more of the same. They are waiting for you to come back. You need to know, my friend, what to do when you don't need them anymore. Once your mind is set free. Yeah. Once your emotions are set free. Once you can finally walk away, then what? Once the crying stops, once the chasing is over, and once you can stand on your own again, then what? Where are you going? What are you going to do? You got to have a strategy. You got to have a plan. If they think you're coming back, hear me. If they believe that you're coming back, make a liar of them. If they think you will take it again, make a liar of them. If they think you still need them, hear me. Leave them standing at the door, peeking out, or standing at the window, looking for you to come dragging back down the driveway like a whipped puppy, giving yourself once again to take the beatings again and to take the abuse again. Leave them waiting until hell freezes over. Your choices are, my friend, listen, they come down to one of three things, in general, what I'm talking about. Get help, to get delivered, get gone, or get in line. Did you hear what I said? Those are your choices. Get help so that you can get delivered, so that even they can get delivered. We want everybody helped. We want everybody delivered. Not just one. We want everybody. I want everybody to have a better life, whether you stay together or not. I want everybody to be able to move on with their lives and have success in life. I especially want the children, if there are children involved, to get delivered. You have no idea the lasting impact and impression that can have on a child, on children, to see one of their parents beaten and talked down and verbally abused and emotionally abused, mentally abused and physically and sexually abused. You have no idea how that could impact their lives and change their lives, my friend. Please hear me. This is the way to survive or to tolerate violence and abuse. You're going to either have to get help, you're going to have to get gone, or tragically, sometimes people just get in line, just fall in line, just submit, and just make the decision. Just resign to the idea that this is what my life is going to be like. I'm never going to be any better. I'm never going to be anybody any better than I am. I'm never going to get any better. This is it. So I'm just going to have to take it. I'm just going to stay here and take it. No, I don't agree with that. But whatever you do, it's your choice. But please understand, my friend, you do have a choice. And it's your choice. And whatever the choice is, you will have to make it, and you will have to live or die with it. And you know what I always say? These are things sometimes that we either live with or we die from. We either live with it or we die from it. Get help. That's what I want to recommend that you do. Get help. Freedom is available. Healing is available. Peace is available. You don't have to suffer that kind of life. There is peace available to you, help available to you, my friend. And when I say get gone, and I'm talking when all else has failed, get the hell out and don't look back, and certainly don't turn back. Listen, you got to get help. Get gone or get in line. That's where you submit, you live with it, or you die from it. What do I do when I don't need you like I used to? When I'm finally able to get to that point where that need is no longer there. The Manhattans would say, let's just kiss and say goodbye. Well, I'm not sure about that one. But certainly there has to be some change in attitude, some change in course of action, and, my friends, some change in what we desire for our future. And I realize it's not easy. I'm not talking, listen, I understand it's not easy. It's not easy because you're fighting against some strong and evil forces. You're fighting against yourself. You're fighting against the love that you have for that other person. The need you have to have somebody. You are fighting against all of that. You're fighting against the threats and the risks that are involved in breaking free of abusive and violent relationships. Yeah, there are risks involved. Hear me. There are risks that are involved. You're fighting against whatever security and stability you think you have with that relationship. I understand. It's not an easy thing. These are decisions that are not easy. You're fighting against all the lies, the deception, the disappointments. You're fighting against all the manipulation, all the abuse. Yes, my friend, you are in a fight. You're fighting against an individual who is just as sick as you are, or even more sick. And it's like you're both under a spell, cursed by the same sick needs, doing and saying things you never thought in a million years that you would ever do or that you would ever say. You're fighting against an individual who wants complete control and complete dominance over you and will do absolutely anything to get it and to maintain it. Picture yourself as being locked in a cell or box in the bottom of the basement, a basement with no doors, no other doors, no windows, and no way out unless your master lets you out for a brief breath of fresh air. But that's not even likely to happen. Picture yourself down there alone, cold, destitute, my friend. And that's where people try to keep you sometimes. Listen, once relationships have been ruptured, once trust has been broken, and once the damage has been done, there's still hope. There's a way, but the way isn't going back. The way isn't staying in that situation. The way is going forward and getting on with your life. And it's possible that could still mean together or it could be separately. Either way, get on with your life. Love, forgive, and if need be, kiss and say goodbye and treat it like a bad dream or a nightmare. Wake up and know that there is a better life for you, my friend. Please hear me. You have to move forward with sustained help. You have to move forward with sustained guidance and direction. You're going to need help along the way. And I strongly recommend counseling, professional counseling. And let me tell you something about counseling. Because a lot of people got this idea, well, I'll run in for one counseling session. That ain't counseling. That's just a meeting. Counseling, listen, has to continue. It has to be a commitment, a sustained help until the doctor says you are well enough to go home. Are you hearing me? Get the help you need. There's plenty of help out there. One session is not counseling. That's not going to do it. You're going to need ongoing help. You know, the Bible talks about a woman who was bent over, and it says that she could in no wise lift herself up or straighten herself up. But Jesus can deliver you. Ask him to straighten you up. And the idea, hear me, and the idea is to straighten up, not to get straightened out. Not in that sense. On another occasion, Jesus encountered a man who was lying by a pool, and he looked at the man, and he knew that that man had been in that condition, that helpless condition, for a long time. And he asked the man, Do you want to be made whole? And that's what I got to ask you today. Do you want to be made whole? Do you want help? Do you want to be delivered? Listen, do you want to get up from there? Do you want to escape the agony, the suffering, the pain? Do you want out? Or do you intend to just stay there and take it over and over again until death shall do you part? Jesus looks at the man and asks the man, do you want to be made whole? And of course, the first thing out of the man's mouth was a complaint against everybody else. It's their fault. It ain't my fault. It's their fault. Nobody will help me into the pool so I can get my healing. Let me tell you something, my friend. There are times, and many times, that's what we do. We use complaints and we use criticisms against others. Listen, why do we do it? Why do we criticize? Why do we complain? We do it to cover our faults and our failures, as to say, I'm like this and I'm in this condition because of them. No, the hell you're not. You're like that and you're in that condition because of you, because you take it. Because you stay there, take the abuse and take the beatings. It's you, it's not them. It's because you refuse to do anything about your situation. You have rejected all the help that is available to you. You don't have to put up with the abuse. You don't have to put up with the violence, but you keep doing it. You refuse to escape even when the gates have swung wide open. Jesus freed your soul. Now you free your mind and free your heart to love again. Use whatever means and methods available to you to free up your life, to free your family, to secure your future. Work at it until you can truly say, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last, my friend. Are you hearing me? If you intend to try and work through it, if you intend to try and work it out, and I hope you do, then everybody would need to engage in counseling, everybody involved. We need to engage in counseling with the same level of commitment and do whatever it takes to give yourselves a chance at life and at your relationship. Are you hearing me, my friend? A violent and abusive person is not to be believed. Please hear me. And I know they can be persuasive. I know they can be convincing. And I know they can give you those little puppy eyes, and I understand all that because sadly, been there and done that. But they cannot be believed. They are not to be believed. They don't like me telling you that, but they are liars and deceivers. A violent, until they get help, that's what they are. Listen, violent and abusive persons cannot be trusted. You can't trust them. That's why you have been disappointed over and over again. You've listened to one lie after another. I'm going to change. I'm going to do better. Forgive me, baby. Then they go out and buy you something. And it can be expensive, too. I told you last week, they paid top dollar for you taking that beating and abuse. You can't believe them. They're lying. Even if they may not even know they're lying. They may not know it. Listen, but they cannot be believed. They are not to be believed, and they cannot be trusted. Please hear me. You can't stay there on a promise. I'm going to do better. No, they're not. Not until they get some help. Without help, they will not change. They cannot change. Don't believe them. Don't even believe yourself. You're not going to change until you get help. And please don't ever accept this someone saying, well, this is just the way I am. You just got to take me this way I am. Your response to them is, well, this is just the way I am. Gone. Out of here. Are you hearing me? When I don't need you like I used to, it will be necessary for me to make some decisions, some critical decisions. Make what be some tough but firm determinations. And you don't have to say a word to them, but you do have to, listen, you do need to resolve in your mind, in your heart, in your spirit, I'm not taking this anymore. I'm going to get help and I'm going to get out of here. Listen, And then you have to determine in your mind, I can't be there like I used. It's almost like you're talking to them, but you don't have to say a word to them. Listen, when it's time for you to escape, when it's time for you to enjoy your freedom, you don't owe them any explanation. You ain't got to explain to nobody. I mean, it's obvious to anybody, really, in the first place, the whippings, the butt whippings you've been taking, the abuse you've been putting up with. You ain't got to explain to nobody why you leaving. Hell, everybody knows why you're leaving. You don't want to take it anymore. But you have to say, I can't be there like I used to be. I can't do what I used to do for you. I just can't do it anymore. I cannot be available as I used to be. You used to be able to call on me anytime. You can't do that now. No, my friend. I can't be as accommodating as I used to be. Don't ask me, well, what happened? You don't have time for me? Because then I have to tell you, no, I don't have time for you. I can't be there for you like I used to be. I just can't right now. I'm at a different place. And really, I don't mind. It's okay to call sometimes, but don't expect long conversations because we really don't have that much to talk about. That's just the way it is, my friend. What do I do when I don't need you like I used to? Now that I'm out, there can be no going out. No, don't call me up for dinner. We ain't doing it. When I'm out, there's no going out. I'll admit it. You really had me. I was like a bull with the ring in the nose and you were just dragging me around. I was all in. But now I'm so over you and don't need you like I used to. The tears have finally stopped and dried up. My head has finally been lifted. I can't give you airtime like I used to. I can no longer allow you to take center stage in my life like I used to. I'll admit I used to do it. Listen, my friend, you can no longer occupy my time, my mind, or my space like you used to. The wheels squeak a bit. They wobble a bit as they roll, but they roll nonetheless. And I'm moving on. Oh, I cherish the good memories, and I learn from the bad memories, and I welcome a fresh, new start. What do I do when I don't need you like I used to? I cut the cord and live, and I pray that you live as well, just not with me. Now that's my take. What do you have to say? Sound off.